This is episode number 2 with Cody Heffernan of the Fair and Dinkum podcast. G'day everyone. Hope you're having a ripper day wherever you are. Absolutely stoked to have you listening. So sorry you've had to wait so long for this episode. Things have been a bit bloody crazy, but I'm stoked to announce that we are back. I'm your host. My name is Cameron McFadgen, founder and CEO of Fair and Dinkum. And today I've got a very special guest for you. His name is Cody Heffernan. World-class, top Australian bull rider. He's won a PBR Australian national title, competed in the US, and he's even ridden at Madison Square Garden. Just before we start, I just want to provide a bit of context. Prior to recording this episode, Cody just been cleared to ride after sustaining a pretty serious injury to his knee a couple of weeks earlier, which had ruled him out from competing. However, since this recording, he has been injured again, unfortunately, and he's undergoing the necessary steps to make a full recovery and return in 2020. So without further ado, let's get cracking into the show. G'day, Cody. Thanks so much for joining us on the show, mate.
Hey, mate. Thanks for having me.
Now, I know the last couple of months have been a bit rough for you. You're sitting at number 1 on the PBR and then looking like not competing at all due to an injury. Can you shed a bit of light on what's been going on?
Yeah, I started the year in the PBR pretty red hot. Won 4 events there at the start of the year. I was leading the title. I was honestly looking like it was going to be my year again. I was going to win the title, and there wasn't enough. Nobody else could do anything else about it, you know. And then I got a bit hurt there at Rockhampton. Tore my ACL, MCL, and LCL in my left knee, as well as the PCL in my right knee. So I done a really good job on it. Also, I got knocked out. So it was a pretty good wreck.
Yeah.
And I actually tried to ride 2 weeks later at the State of Origin in Sydney, but that didn't pan out real well. I had to pull out of that event. And then I finally got the MRIs done, which, you know, I found out what was exactly wrong with my knees. And then it's been a few months now. It's been about 4 months. I got the braces sorted and been doing lots of rehab work on my knees, getting them as strong as possible to come back. The ACL needs surgery, but that can hold off for a little while longer. And they don't want to do surgery on the PCL, so I just had to get a brace that allows it to be as stable as possible when I ride, so it doesn't hurt. And so, yeah, now what I'm looking at is I've slipped back to 3rd in the PBR standings. I'm coming back this weekend for the Mackay event, and I'm looking to just get back straight into it. Try and win the Australian title again.
So was this looking like the longest time you'd ever been out?
Yeah, definitely the longest time. 4 months. I honestly can't remember the last time I had this long off. It was probably when I was like 10 or 11 or 12.
And the injury was looking like you were going to be out for much longer than 4 months. You were going to be out for maybe 6 or more?
Yeah, that's right. If I got the surgery on the ACL, probably looking at 9 months out for sure. And when I do get the surgery, that's how long I am going to be out for. But definitely looking at finishing this season off and winning that Australian title, making the World Finals, and then maybe look at getting the surgery then.
Is there enough time for you to climb back up the ranks?
As we sit right now, there's five events left, and also the finals. So there's still a bunch of points left. Aaron Klyer, his last year's Australian champion, he's out in front at the moment. He's got a decent lead, but with the amount of points on offer at the finals, it's still pretty wide open between myself, Brady Fielder, and Aaron Klyer. So, yeah, I fully expect myself to be up there.
What was it like having that feeling that you might be out for so long, seeing you hadn't dealt with it before? Was it a bit daunting for you?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing I've ever been through. I've been quite lucky throughout my whole career as a bull rider. This is, honestly, it's the worst injury that I've dealt with. And at times it was very frustrating. At times I thought my season was done. Maybe next year was done too. I just didn't know what was wrong and how long it would take to come back. Lots of doubt doubts crept in. At one point there, I was thinking, man, I'm 29. Maybe I just hang up the boots. But then,
Yeah, man.
I'd shut that down pretty quick. I was thinking, I'm still at the top of my game. I can't go out like this. So, I put that to put that to rest.
Yeah, I can only imagine how it would have been playing on you mentally, but I bet you're bloody stoked to be back on the circuit and going for the number one spot. So how did you actually get into bull riding? How did your career start?
I started when I think I was about 4 years old. That was my first ride was at 4 years old. I have two older brothers, one older sister, and one afternoon we were down at the yards and we had they had a calf in there and they put me on him. So that's pretty much my first ride. They were into rodeos, so my whole family was into rodeos. They were going just about every weekend. When I was born, Dad was actually at a rodeo, so Mum wasn't probably
Yeah,
too happy about
right.
that. It's funny now, but
Yeah.
Mum probably wasn't happy about that.
And then, so you rode for a little bit, and then you did a bit of riding in Australia, and then went over to the US.
Yeah, so I continued riding, uh, through the junior ranks, all the way up to, broke into the open ranks when I was 16 years old. Uh, these days you can't ride open bulls until you're 18, but back then it was a pretty big thing to break into the open ranks before you got to 18. So that was the goal back then. And I managed to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
then I went into the PBR circuit there when I was 18. Made a pretty big splash, won an event, made the finals that year, and I felt like after that first year in the PBR when I was 18, 19, after that year I kind of took I don't know what happened. I started riding bad and it went for a fair while, maybe 6 months, 12 months. Wasn't riding any good. I felt like, all right, time to take a backward step, and that's when I went over to the USA to ride on the USA's college rodeo circuit.
And how was the college rodeo circuit over there? Was it something that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Took a lot out of it. The whole reason to go over was to take that stepwards back in order to go two steps forward. So one step back, two steps forward, and I was able to do that. Lived over there for 3 years, 2 years in New Mexico, a year and 1 year in Texas. Made the college national finals. I've done a bunch of pro rodeos, a bunch of PBRs over there as well. In between those college rodeos, and also, I studied. I did do a little bit of studying, so I learned something.
So what was your plan when you were in the US? Were you looking to really pursue and go up the ranks in the circuit there, or were you just putting in a bit of work before you came back and returned to Australia?
The main goal is to, go to America and be a world champion in the PBR. But at that time, I think I was 21 when I first went over to the college. I was really just thinking about just learning, as just meeting people, getting used to the bulls over there, just getting used to the different atmosphere. Being away from home, there's a whole lot of different things that you got to deal with being over there. So I was just really just wanting to kind of get a taste of it. And I spent 3 years there at college. I did do some PBRs and pro rodeos when there was time, and I made the college finals twice. And then from there, I just wanted to I felt like I gained that experience over there, that I was ready to come home, win some titles, and then go back to the PBR in America.
So what year did you come back to Australia?
It was 2014. That was my last season there at college.
And then you win an Australian national title in 2016. What was the lead up like going into that?
Yeah, coming back from college, I really felt like, I was probably what 24 years of age. I was really thought, it's my time to win everything back here. Like I've got the experience, I've got the skills, and that first season I was just kind of getting used to the bulls again. I spent 3 years away, so I didn't know any of the bulls. So that first year, the first full year, 2015, I finished fourth in the PBR, which is fairly good, and I was pretty close to, I was only a few bulls away from actually winning that title, so that lit a fire under me. Coming into the 2016 season, I really felt like, this is me. This is my year. Nobody's going to stop me, and yeah, nobody did, and I won that title in 2016.
And was it you put in a lot of work to get that title, or was it just coming naturally for you?
No, there was a lot of work. There was a lot of build up to that season. I felt like towards the end of the 2015 season, when I was starting to kind of plan my 2016 season and what it would be like, I was envisioning a dominating year that nobody was going to touch me. I was going to lead it from the start to the finish. So I was putting that into my head well before the season started, and yeah, so that just that's how it went. I mean, I won the first event, and I didn't let it go until I won that title.
And after you win the Australian title, did you have goals to go back over the US? Or were you chasing a title over there as well?
Yeah, so because I was doing so well over here in the PBR, I was leading the title. I was also up there in the world standings, so that did mean that I could go over to the USA to pursue the top tour over there. At the time, my main goal was to win the Australian title, so I actually turned down events, the top tour over there, to come back home and win the Australian title. So once I finally won that title, the next step was to go to America and make the world finals, and I did make the world finals. I was 37th that year. Top 35 go to the world finals, but due to injuries, of course, I did get to go to the world finals and ride there, so that was really good.
Where were they held at?
They were at Las Vegas. They were pretty good. Awesome finals, but I guess after winning that Australian title, I kind of lost a bit of a mental edge. I think I guess spending so long trying to win something and then finally getting it, I lost a bit of drive. And it took me a little while to get it back. 2017 wasn't a good year for me. I finally found it at the end of 2017, and coming into 2018, I really, wanted to win another title again and get back to the top. I finished 2018 ranked fourth in Australia. Had a good shot at winning it at that year's finals. And then, I mean, that comes into 2019 where I started out so great, but got injured.
Yeah, and you're on fire. So, but now you're back on. So hopefully we can see you take another title. That'd be absolutely insane. So who have been your biggest influences and inspirations during your career?
I guess when I first started, it was my brother Craig. He was riding, he was competing. He helped me on that first one when I was 4 years of age, and he was a huge inspiration all the way up through the junior ranks. I think that movie 8 Seconds, it came out in '94. That was a pretty big inspiration as well. I just wanted to be a bull rider just like Lane Frost. We watched that videotape over and over again. You can just about memorize every line from that movie. And then growing up, when you're a teenager, you start to, look at some other guys. Troy Dunn, of course, the only PBR world champion Australia's got. Really watched a lot of his videos and listened to everything that he said. Brandon Clark, of course. And then they're more Australian guys, but then I also watched a lot of Jim Sharp, one of the greatest bull riders of all time. Justin McBride, guys like that. I really started to change my style to mimic their styles.
Is there anyone that really is a standout that you tried to mimic their style coming up as a junior and going in the US?
Well, when I was growing up, I mean, I just really had my brother Craig. He was just kind of telling me what to do. So I really listened to him. And then Craig he would also tell me when I was young, pick little things out from the best riders and try and copy what they do. So as a teenager, that kind of stuck in my head, and I started to research a lot of other riders like Justin McBride and Jim Sharp and Troy Dunn. So I really tried to pick out the best things of those styles and trying to add them to my style and kind of create my own style in the process. So yeah, those were the guys that I looked at. Yeah.
And being such a dangerous sport, what actually draws you to want to ride all the time?
That's a good question. I guess because I started at such a young age, the danger element of it isn't as great as somebody who's starting at 18. If you know what I mean. I'm kind of
Yeah.
went through it all my life. That I mean, not to say that I don't get a little bit nervous here and there. You got a bull that's so and so, get a little bit nervous, but then I'm able to turn that into I'm able to use that adrenaline and a little bit of fear to it's gonna work in my favor, so I can definitely do that. Yeah, so I don't know what to say. I mean, the fear, there's a little bit of fear there, but I've definitely got that worked out. I'd want to hope that I've got that worked out by now.
Yeah, definitely. And when people first meet you and they don't know that you're a bull rider, are they kind of surprised when you tell them?
Yeah, probably definitely. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not the typical. I'm probably not the typical bull rider. I'm not too outgoing, and yeah, they are probably surprised that I do ride bulls.
And what is that feeling like before you're actually jumping on the bull? Is there a lot of nerves? Run us through how you're feeling.
I guess now when you've got a bull that's very tough to ride, maybe they've never ridden him before. That's when my motor gets really going because I want to be the first guy to ride him for 8 seconds. And then
Hmm.
also you throw in account that you could possibly win this PBR if you ride this bull. So there's a lot of things going on right there. At that point in time, I'm just focused on riding the bull for what he is. He jumps and kicks and he's going to spin. So I'm just focused about that. At that point, I'm not worried about he's throwing everybody off. I'm just thinking about riding him for what he does. And,
Hmm.
and yeah, I guess it works for me. I think, I've rode a lot of bulls that nobody else has rode and so that's what I try and do.
In the week leading up to a ride, do you have visualizations going through your mind on what's going to happen? Or do you sort of try and block it out and not let it play on your mind too much?
Just trying to keep it simple, The bull, he can only come up in the front end, kick in the back end, and turn left or turn right. So just trying to keep it simple, visualizing the moves that I can make, in a perfect way. Real controlled movements. Just trying to picture it like that. It doesn't always end up like that. It's going to get a bit wild, and you're not going to ride every ball perfect, but I feel like visualizing riding them perfect. It's a great help.
And do you have a bit of a schedule for preparing, like physically and mentally, before a ride in the week leading up?
I guess before a ride, there's definitely an hour there where I need to be getting ready. Now it's probably going to increase because I've got to put some knee braces on and do a bit more
Hmm.
strapping. So I've got to be getting ready for that bit more earlier. Uh, in terms of during the week, what do I do? Yeah, mental prep. Probably half an hour a day there, maybe, or maybe every second day. Go to the gym probably 4 times a week. Maybe swim once a week, and just trying to get the body ready and not feeling sore for that day. So I ride on Friday in at Singleton at my hometown show. So I won't really do nothing on Thursday. Maybe I'll go jump in the sauna or the pool. I won't do nothing that's gonna leave me sore the next day when I'm gonna ride. That's about the only thing I'll make sure of.
And do you have any rituals or superstitions?
No, not really. I kind of like to do those things that nobody does, like putting your cowie out on the bed. Like I think rituals and superstitions are a little bit silly. Like, man, if I'm superstitious and there's something that I need to do every time before I ride, if I don't do it, then I fall off. Like that's just that's just not good. Like, what
Yep.
if not every time that you there's not every time that you can do it. So now you're getting on a bull thinking, oh, because I haven't done this, then I'm gonna fall off. Like, you're working against yourself. So I try not to
Yep.
believe in. I try not to be superstitious at all.
Yeah, that's a pretty good mindset to have. Have you ever been injured or had a few close calls at the point where you go like, screw this, I'm done. Bull riding isn't for me. Has there ever been any of them moments throughout your career?
Uh, there's definitely one that hits the mind straight up. I got knocked out in a town called Blackall in 2014. It was I'd come home from college. Oh, it was possibly early 2015. It was, and I got knocked out, and I woke up in the ambulance. I got to the hospital, and they were really worried about my neck. And yeah, I was kind of in the ambulance there, thinking, "Oh man, I'm done. I'm probably not going to ride again." And I was just kind of coming to, and they were doing a bunch of X-rays and all that, and they finally put me in the room, and I'm by myself, and I've kind of come to, like I kind of know what's going on now, and I think I'm kind of half paralyzed or something. I don't know. So I kind of start wiggling my toes, and I'm like, oh, right, oh, that's good at least, you know. But still, I think I'm done, and just I called mum. And I shed a tear, and I'm like, oh, geez, I think this is me. I'm probably not going to ride again. And yeah, so that was pretty surreal, I guess, calling mum and telling her that. And but I guess the thing is that I bloody rode the next weekend. Yeah, so it wasn't that
Jeez.
didn't end up being that bad. I mean, I was concussed, I was knocked
Wasn't for
out.
that long then.
Nah, I shouldn't have been riding the next weekend, but you do that when you're a bit younger.
And is your mum pretty supportive? As she gets a bit nervous when you're getting on the ball? Or she come good now?
Nah, she's been good all through my career. Both my parents have been awesome. They don't really talk about the injuries. I guess they know that if they talk about injuries and getting hurt, then there's a whole lot more chance of actually getting hurt. So, and I believe that 100%. You know, if I sit around watching a bunch of wrecks, that's on my mind, and I'm probably going to go to the rodeo and get wrecked out. So, they've been really good about injuries and not putting that bad stuff in my head.
And what are some of the favourite places you've ridden throughout your career? Because you've obviously been around the world. Where's some of the standouts for you?
I'd say Madison Square Garden. It was pretty cool. I've rode there 3 years in a row. Uh, Back in 2015, 16, and 17, I rode there. Yeah, it was a great building. I mean, the name speaks for itself, really.
Is it intimidating having a crowd like that?
Yeah, they're very loud in New York. Yeah, very, very loud. I mean, they will boo and cheer very loud,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's pretty crazy there. Vegas is always a fun one. The Cowboy Stadium, the AT&T Stadium there in Dallas, it's massive, that building, and I got to ride there back in February for the Global Cup team for Team Australia. That's
Yep.
definitely a favourite.
So when you're stepping on Madison Square Garden, obviously a huge crowd, can it be off-putting or distracting, or are you just so focused on the job at hand you just block it out?
Yeah, honestly, at this point in my career, the crowd doesn't worry me one bit. I think it never really has. I never really thought about it. The crowd and riding in front of people, that's never been an issue for me. Uh, yeah, I'm just so focused on what I got to do, really.
And are there any bulls that really stand out as highlights in your career, big or small, over the years?
A couple bulls, I guess. When I was 17, I got on a bull called Cyclone. He didn't get rode very much, and I didn't ride him. He backslammed me into the ground. He was a very big bull. Uh, Another bull really stands out is Hillbilly Deluxe. He's a 2016 PBR champion bull, so he won it the year I won my title. And he was actually the bull that I won Brisbane on, which sealed the deal for me. It sealed the national title for me, and then yeah, so he's always been special to me. I was the first one to ride him, and I've actually got one of his calves here at me home. So yeah, I'm pretty partial to him.
Yeah, nice. And what can you share with us about a bull named Orgasma?
Um, Orgasmo, he was a black and white bull. He he come about when I was going through the junior ranks. So I think I got on him once or twice in the junior ranks, and he progressed up into the novice and the open just about the same time I did, and I drew him a fair few times. I think 7 all up I got on him, and I rode him once. He was he was a pretty good bull. He was first ridden by Jason O'Hearn at Cundabung. He was the first one to get him rode, and
Yep.
then Jared Farley rode him. All both them bull riders they're both Australia's greatest bull riders right there. And then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was little me. I think I was 18 when I got on him when I rode him, so that was pretty special. After those two guys, I got him rode, and
Yeah.
yeah, just definitely special.
Yeah, you were in bloody stoked. So, do you have a bit of a vision or a plan on where you want to be in the next 5 years?
Yeah, well, I definitely got a vision. I got to win this Australian title. If I can do that, then I can spend all the next year in the USA, chasing the world title and the world scene. If I can get a good year over there in America, then I can come back. Still ride bulls till I'm probably 35. I think I'll probably give it up, and well, by then I'll hopefully have enough money to buy a big property, run a bunch of cows on, bunch of bulls, and that'll be me. That'll be me.
And life after bull riding, would you ever take on like a bit of a mentoring and coaching role?
Yeah, I've been doing a few one-on-one lessons lately, and running the school is definitely a thing that I will do in the future. Um, yeah, definitely. I think I'll be doing that. Yeah,
So, your advice probably for anyone wanting to get into a school, or is that their
yeah,
best
definitely.
best way to get into
Yeah,
bull riding?
yeah, definitely a school, and then just start entering up. I mean, you just got to go.
And are there any traits that you think that you need to possess to be a successful bull rider?
I guess you just got to have that drive. You got to want it. You got to want to be the absolute best at it. I mean, it's too dangerous of a sport to do as a hobby. The day that I turn up just because my mates are there is I'll be giving it up because it's not worth getting hurt. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's got to mean a lot to you.
Growing up, what did your mates at school think? Because obviously being a bull rider is a pretty unique career path.
Well, I was pretty lucky. I grew up, out of town, and I had a couple of mates that lived right by me. So I was forever at their house, and they were country kids as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I just always had country mates really. So and two of my good mates actually ended up getting on steers when they got older. Around the teenage years, they started riding a lot, and yeah, so I never really had a drama with that.
And for anyone that wants to go to a rodeo, hasn't been before, what's a rodeo you think they should attend in Australia? One that stands out, you go, you must go to that.
I guess probably Mount Isa. It's the biggest rodeo in the southern hemisphere. Uh, yeah, if you're gonna go to a rodeo, go to Mount Isa, or the finals in Tamworth are of course pretty good. You got the best of the best riding there, and then I mean any PBA you go to is definitely going to be pretty fun and good to watch.
Yeah, nice. Um, I'm mindful of your time. Unfortunately, we have to look towards wrapping up. I want to thank you so much for your time and joining us on the show. Last question is, where is the best place people can find out a bit more about you and your bull riding career?
I guess just on Facebook, I've got an athlete page there on Facebook. People can jump up there, and I often update that with what I've been doing, and also Instagram. I'm pretty posting pretty regular on that. That's where people can find me and follow my career.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to find out a bit more about Cody, just head to our website, www.fairanddinkum.com. And also let us know who you want to hear next on the podcast. And make sure to keep an eye out on our Instagram and Facebook to know when the next episode comes out. Cheers.